build would help reduce insurance rates for a lot of homes. The savings was almost $4 million a year in insurance. Now we're going to hold the insurance companies accountable to make sure they lower those rates now that we're going to have a fire station closer to those homes. But I was excited to work with then the senator to get that appropriations done. And of course, our governor, who is a big supporter of public safety, firefighters, was able to sign off on that, and we got it done. But today is a special occasion. Our CFO is joining us. For some of you who don't know what the CFO does, one of the things that's in his department is fire. So the fire marshal reports to him, so he's responsible. He's the head firefighter, I would say, in the state of Florida. So we're excited to have Blaze here. You know, the one thing I would ask you to do is to keep the firefighters in Marion County in your prayers and your thoughts. We had a fire there this weekend, and they continue to fight that, and the state and the resources of the state will continue to help with that cleanup. And I can tell you, one of the first people I called was this gentleman to my right, and he was on top of it. So we are excited to help with that response. But I want to introduce someone who fights for firefighters, but also fights for everyone that pays taxes in the state of Florida. Please help me in welcoming Blaze Ngolia.
Representative, first, thank you for that introduction, and thank you for what you're doing. It's an honor to work with you, to have worked with you alongside in the legislature, and I know you're going to do great things. So I appreciate everything that you do. First, an executive announcement. I decided to fire the person who shut off the heat here in the state of Florida. That person will be no longer employed. And to piggyback off of what the representative said, keep all the firefighters who are fighting the fires in Marion County in your prayers. We want to thank them for their service. We want to thank all the teams that have been boots on the ground, making sure that we contain that, number one, and also make sure that we're alerting the community because of the creosote in the timbers. Obviously, that's a toxin, and we'll go into a little bit about toxins in a little while and why it's important that firefighters have the necessary equipment in order to do what they need to do. And this is a perfect example of why it is important and incumbent upon us as community leaders and as representatives of the government and people who care about our law enforcement to make sure that they have the newest technology and the equipment that they need in order to keep them safe and the community safe at the same time. So thank you, Representative Grow, for the comments. We do have some other elected officials in the room. Sheriff Vincent, thank you for being here this morning. Sheriff, you're doing great things here in the county, keeping us safe. Thank you so much for what you do. Appreciate you. We also have some good friends who are county commissioners here in the room with us today. We have Commissioner Holly Davis. Where is Holly? Thank you. We have Commissioner Finnegan. We have Commissioner Barrick. We have Commissioner Bays all joining us today. Give them a big round of applause. Thank you for what they do. So it is great to be here in my former Senate district in Citrus County. Just so you know, we have always been big supporters of law enforcement, whether it is fire and police. It is an honor to be the state fire marshal and take on this role also, just to further prove my commitment to our first responder community, because we know that they are the hometown heroes. We know that they are the backbone of a lot of the community, serving people selflessly. So we appreciate that. So some stats here for you all. In Florida, a fire department responds every 9 seconds. Every 9 seconds. An EMS rescue call occurs every 13 seconds. A fire occurs every 11 minutes, and a vehicle fire occurs every 61 minutes. Citrus County alone had over 17,000 calls for service just last year alone. Florida's fortunate to have the best firefighters in the United States. And we're not just saying that as a talking point. We do. We train them. We give the equipment that they need when there are other instances and things that need to be attended to in other states, other wildfires, hurricanes, mudslides. You often see a lot of Florida firefighters go and travel to those, specifically some of our USAR teams here in the state of Florida. They train very hard. They have special tasking, special designations that they go up there, and they're always looking to help. So we appreciate that. And quite frankly, Florida fighters respond quickly and effectively to all types of emergencies. Yes, even cats in trees. I have seen that also. That is true. Our first responders, both firefighters and police, see some of the worst things that happen in our communities, and sometimes that leaves unimaginable scars on people's brains. And this is an issue that I am taking near and dear to our heart. We are taking it seriously. PTSD for firefighters and our law enforcement is a real thing, and we are seeing probably a disproportionate amount of suicides in our first responder communities. I want to say so far this year, just in South Florida, I want to say there was 5 or 6, don't quote me on that, suicides just from fire so far this year. You have to think that when they get on scene, that when they get on site, they see things that probably most other people don't see. And I'm not going to go into the specifics, but I've heard some of the stories, and I would tell you that would scar me. So we need to do more to make sure that we care for them. And the good thing about Florida is we take action. We just not sit there. We understand when there's a problem, and then we identify the problem, and then we try to correct the problem. We saw this years ago with cancer presumption. We went from treating to cancer to preventing the cancer. And hopefully at some point in the future, we are going to recognize that there is an epidemic of first responders taking their own lives. And now we need to move to prevention. So we need to do everything that we possibly can to support them, to make sure that that they know that they are loved in our communities and they have a support system. And no matter what it feels like today, it's going to get better tomorrow. So we're going to stand with them and make sure that we are taking care of them. If we are going to ask our brothers and sisters to head towards danger, we want to make sure that they know that they have the support, the equipment, and the employers, who is government, behind them and get their backs. But the more we discuss and the more we have these public conversations in terms of policy, public policy, I think we are going to eventually get to the point where we are going to stem some of these suicide rates amongst our first responders. As State Fire Marshal, I've made it a priority to visit Florida's fire stations just like this, although in a lot warmer weather. This is the coldest so far, to raise awareness on the challenges that our firefighters face every day and to protect their communities. Just another one of those challenges is the increase of people, firefighters, being afflicted with cancer because of the job itself. Now, unfortunately, firefighters have a higher risk of being diagnosed with cancer, and it makes sense. When firefighters were fighting fires 30, 40 years ago, 50 years ago, it was wood structures and concretes. But now firefighters go into these burning structures. It's not just wood, it's not just concrete, it's plastics, it's petrochemicals, and it's things absorbed through the skin and through the lungs and through the eyes. And this is why I brought up the creosote and the chemicals with the railroad ties and the timbers that were burning yesterday, is that we know that that is going to cause harm, right? So that's a perfect example of asking our brothers and sisters to go on site and fight a fire, knowing that the chemicals that are burning may cause harm. So we know that they have the equipment to keep themselves safe. So some of the money that we're giving away today does deal with decontamination and making sure that they have the equipment that they need. But we knew this before, and that's why when I was in the Florida House at the time, we sponsored legislation to provide to provide cancer presumption coverage, because there are certain types of cancer, if a firefighter got it, it should be presumed that they got it on the job, and I think that is important. But the monetary support also. We support the support for firefighters cannot end there. We must ensure that our fire stations and our firefighters have all the equipment that they need in order to keep them safe. That's why we were constantly traveling the state, giving out these awards and making people aware of the dangers that our first responders go through on a daily basis. But also, as you know, I have been traveling the state calling for property tax reform. I think we are making the case that local governments are spending way too much money on bureaucrats and things that do not add to what the community wants and needs, and a lot of that is public safety. So while we are having the discussion about cutting property taxes, let me make it clear right now, as I made it clear last week, last month, and all the time that I have been CFO. Local governments can cut their budgets, but they should not ever cut the budgets of first responders. And if you hear a local government official or an elected official say that if they have to cut their budget, that we are going to lose fire and police, you direct them to me, because I will prove to them that they have more than enough money to cut the budget, offer property tax relief, but yet also protect their first responders. And if a local government says that you are going to have longer wait times, we're not going to be able to hire enough police or deputies, what they are basically saying is that the last thing that they are thinking about is law enforcement, if that's the first thing that they are looking to cut. Because it's my belief, when you build the budget, the first thing you should be firing is a fire and police, not the last thing, because the first rule of government is to protect its citizens, not the bureaucracy. So since I took office, we have awarded more than $16 million to support firefighters across the state and ensure that they have the resources they need to protect themselves and their communities. So today, I am proud to award over $5.5 million to protect our firefighters from dangerous cancer-causing chemicals, and to ensure that our fire infrastructure is ready for any emergency ahead. The funds I am awarding today are available through the Firefighter Cancer Decontamination Grant Program, the Firefighter Assistance Grant Program, and projects that were appropriated in the fiscal year 2025 to 2026 budget. The Firefighter Cancer Decontamination Grant Program provides funding to fire departments for the purchase of life-saving equipment to mitigate exposure to cancer-causing chemicals. The Firefighter Assistance Grant Program was established to help volunteer and combination fire departments improve their emergency response capabilities. So we're going to go into the award phase right now. So when I call the name of the organization, please come up to the front for a photo. So just everyone understands how we're going to do this. We're going to call, we're going to come up, we're going to take a picture. If you have the award, just step off. My brain is not working because it's way too cold. I'm still waiting for my brain to defrost. Step off to the side. Once we get through all of them, we'll take one group photo, and then we'll call up our speakers. So Citrus County, last year, in the 2025-2026 budget, Representative J.J. Grow and I were honored to put through an appropriation for $3.5 million for Citrus County for a new fire station. Citrus County, Chief, come on up. Next, Gilchrist County, $1,409,575. Gilchrist, where you at? These in the back. Cross City, $415,000. Chief. We also have awarded, although they are not here today, the town of Inglis with $105,910. We will make sure that we get them the check. Next up, City of Williston, $55,402. Chief. City of Inverness, $57,894. I'm so angry that we don't round up stuff. And the town of Bronson, $6,964. Chief. All right, let's all come together up here for a group photo. Get somebody in it. There we go. Come on, come move in closer. There we go. Hold on. All right, thank you, gentlemen. Appreciate you. Now, the next thing is to see if they can actually get that through the drive-through window. Next up to speak, let me call upon Citrus County Fire Chief Craig Stevens. Chief, thank you, sir, for some comments.
Yeah, we're praying for warmth right now. Morning, it's an honor to be here. And on behalf of Citrus County, we want to express our sincere gratitude to Chief Financial Officer Blaise Angola and the state of Florida for their continued investment in public safety. The appropriation for the new fire station 8 is more than just bricks and mortar. It's an investment in a stronger vantage point for better response times, broader reach, and safer outcomes for our community. By relocating this station to a more strategic location, we are expanding our coverage to an additional 7,200 residents and better positioning our crews to respond quickly to emergencies in a high-demand corridor. We deeply appreciate the support from Tallahassee, and I want to personally thank CFO Angola for being a steadfast advocate for firefighters and the people of Citrus County. This partnership between the state and local government demonstrates what's possible when we work together to protect lives and property. Thank you. God bless.
Next up, Florida Chiefs Fire Association President Trip Bars. Sir.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for having me here. I'm the fire chief in the city of Treasure Island in Pinellas County and represent the Florida Fire Chiefs Association as their president this year. This is my 5th time being out on the road with CFO Angola presenting these checks, and I'm honored to be just a small part of acknowledging what he does for the fire service here in Florida. He walks the walk, he talks the talk, but he really knows what he's talking about. You can tell when he explains the nature of the combustibles that we deal with, that he gets the challenges, from the cancer-causing stuff that we're exposed to on a daily basis, providing these grants that will buy extractors, gear dryers, gear equipment cleaners, things that remove those carcinogens so our firefighters don't have to take them home to their families and they can enjoy a long career serving the public and a long retirement well earned after that. The mental health stuff that we talked about a little bit, that's real. It builds up to you slowly throughout your career. It's not just one big incident or horrible incident, although that does play a part of it. But this cumulative effect, we're starting to realize, takes a toll on the mental health of the first responders, law enforcement, firefighters, EMTs, paramedics. And there is actually a bill currently working its way through the legislature, which we all support, that will extend that protection to our 911 telecommunicators. So the elected folks in here, if you've got a vote, please spend that wisely on that one. Thank you. Again, CFO Angola, thank you for all of your steadfast and heartfelt support to Florida's firefighters. I look forward to working with you on more of these in the future.
Appreciate you. Thank you, sir. Next up, Florida Professional Firefighter Secretary and Treasurer Angelo Dariano. Nice little Irish name there.
Hello and thank you. First, I'd like to thank Chief Stevens and the crew of Station 20 for hosting this event and sharing your home with us. I'd also like to thank all the elected officials and also Representative Gross for all that you do and joining us in this great event. On behalf of the Florida professional firefighters and the over 31,000 men and women who, who have a real risk of occupational cancer, we want to thank you for the support you've always given. Making sure members decontaminate after every fire, protect themselves, help protect them and their families from increased risks and exposures as is an important issue for our organization. The Chief Financial Officer, time and again, has demonstrated that firefighter health and safety is his priority. From championing the firefighter cancer bill to advocating this session's health and safety legislation, he's been a true partner in making sure our firefighters have the protections they deserve. I am proud of what we've accomplished together, and we know that Chief Financial Officer Blaise Ngolia will continue this fight. Thank you.
Just to piggyback off of some of the comments before I take any questions, if there are any from the press. Yes, we are going around. I've trying to visit as many first responders, brothers and sisters in the firefighter community as much as possible. But when we do these events, it is not only about handing out checks and making sure that you have the resources that you need, it's also creating awareness. We're hopeful that every time we do some of these events, that the people listening to this, the people listening online, and the news media reports about what's going on with the firefighter community, specifically when it comes to cancer coverage and PTSD and suicide among our first responders. So the more we talk about